All right, Algebra 1. We have been out of commission for almost a week now, so we are going to move on with negative exponents today. So if you happen to have at home your workbook that we did, our note pages, Chapter 4 Exponents, we had rules on the front. Go ahead and get that. If you don't have that, just grab a piece of paper. We're going to take some notes. We're really just going to do a bunch of examples. I'm going to try and keep this around 5 to 10 minutes because it takes forever to upload to YouTube. So what we're going to look at are negative exponents. Negative exponents are when we have something like 2 to the negative third power. Okay, so all it says is that the exponent has a negative sign. All that means, it's very simple, is that this becomes the bottom. All a negative says is to move the exponent and the base down to the bottom. So 2 to the negative third goes down to the bottom. It becomes 2 to the third, and we always hold the place with a 1. Now that's not simplified, you know that, because 2 to the third power is really 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So it becomes 1 over 8. Okay? In fact, really the negative just means move it from, if it's on the top, move it to the bottom. If it's on the bottom, move it to the top. So a negative exponent means move from wherever it is. So if it happens to be in the numerator, we move it to the denominator. So from numerator to denominator, or if it's in the denominator, we move it to the numerator, right? So we move it from the denominator to the numerator. Okay, so it's kind of like flipping, but it's not actually flipping. You're not taking it and going flip-flop, okay? You're actually moving it. Now here it kind of looks like that because you know that this is over 1, but it's not actually flipping it. And let me show you some more examples of why that's not exactly the case. So, try that again. Okay, so let's say instead we had, get a better color. Let's say we had, let's go with some variables this time. X to the negative 4th over y squared. Here's what I mean by it's not flipping. So the negative doesn't mean flip the x and the y. What it means is move this guy, and that means the whole thing from the top down to the bottom. This doesn't move. This stays exactly where it is. So this actually just becomes 1, hold the place, y squared x to the 4th. But you know that we don't put them yx, we put them in alphabetical order. So y, 1 over x to the 4th, y to the 2nd. Okay? So if you've got your book with you, I want you to try number 4. If you don't have your book with you, you're like, dude, what's number 4? So number 4 is 9 to the negative 2nd. So I'm going to give you just about 10-15 seconds to try that on your own. And again, I'm not giving you a lot of time because it takes forever to upload these videos to YouTube. Okay, so did you get 1 over 9 squared or 1 over 81? That's it. Negative second, 9 to the negative 2nd means move it to the bottom, hold the place with a 1 because there's nothing up there anymore. 9 squared is 81. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. Number 5. We'll do this one together. This is, in parentheses, 5/4 raised to the negative 2nd. Okay, you already know that this is like there's a 1 there and a 1 there. right? You also already know that when it's outside the parentheses and it's trying to get in, what do? Do we add or multiply? Well, just like when it's 2 times x plus 1, when it's outside the parentheses trying to get in, what do? We multiply. So it's the same thing here. We multiply. Multiply. So this ends up being 5 to the negative second over 4 to the negative second. Okay? Well, then since they're both negative, this is a flip-flop kind of problem. So then it becomes, I don't know if you can see the orange real well, I'm going to change back to the black. Then it becomes 4 squared over 5 squared, which is 16 over 25. And I can't reduce it, so I leave it like that. Okay? So you can, another way to look at this exact same problem, we distributed, when you see a negative second or a negative power outside of the parentheses, you can flip-flop it and then multiply in. So we could have, and this is another option, if you get this, ignore me for the next 20 seconds. If you don't get this and you want another way to look at it, or if you just want to expand your mind a little bit, keep listening. So we can just flip-flop here and make this 4/5 and take the negative away. Once we take the negative away, now we're just going back to the same thing. This is a 1, this is a 1. We're distributing in, so we get 4 squared over, I was getting ready to do 25, but so we get 16 over 25. Did I get the same thing either way? Yes, that's what's cool about math. You don't have to do it the same way that your neighbor does, but you'll still get the same answer, which is pretty cool. Okay, so moving on to number 6. These are all the problems that are in your book, in your workbook. All right, let's see. Number 6. Give it a whirl. You know, on Home Alone, I think I'll give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. See if you can do this one on your own. There's a lot of ways to do it. When I come back and do it with you, I'll show you the way I like best, but it doesn't mean it's wrong the way that you did it, so long as you get the same answer. All right, so together, we can do this a few ways. These have the same base, right? So we can use our properties of exponents and say because they have the same base and I'm multiplying them together, I can add the exponents. Sounds like a great idea. I could also go ahead and move these. I don't like negative exponents. I can move the negative 5 down to the bottom and the negative 4 up to the top. Then I can do my properties of exponents. I think that might make the most sense for us, especially since we're starting to learn about negative exponents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy, move him up to the top, and I'm going to take this guy and move him down to the bottom. That's going to give me 3 to the 4th power times 3 to the 3rd over 3 to the 5th power. Okay, same base, different exponents. Want to put them all together. This is 4 3s, this is 3 3s. That means I have 7 3s all together, or that's 4 plus 3. So that ends up being 3 to the 7th power. On the bottom, I still have 3 to the 5th. All right? Now use our property of division. If I'm dividing things that have the same base with different exponents, what do we do to the exponents? We subtract. So 7 minus 5 is 2. Where's the bigger number? There's 7 of them on the top, 5 on the bottom, so they're going to be left on the top. So it ends up being 3 squared or 9. Okay? That's one way to do it. You might have done it a different way. You might have started out by doing negative 5 plus 3 is 2, and then flipped, or then moved this up. I'm sorry, did forget I said flipped. Then moved this up, and then put all your things together and gotten 3 to the 2nd. Put all your exponents and bases together. That works too. Either way, you're going to get 3 to the 2nd. Okay, let's move on to the next page. You have 3x to the negative 2nd. 3x to the negative 2nd. That's number 10. 3x to the negative 2nd. For those of you who don't have this, remember we skipped around a bunch because this was both powers of powers and negative exponents together, okay? So what's raised to the negative second power here? Is it the 3, the x, or the 3 and the x? It's the x. It's not the 3 and the x. How could I make it be the 3 and the x? I would have had to put it in parentheses. Since it's not in parentheses, it's just the x. So that means that the only thing that's going to move is going to be this guy. And since there isn't anything on the bottom, I'm going to have to create a bottom. That's okay, the denominator. So this becomes 3 on the top, x squared on the bottom. Okay? Not too bad. All right, try number 11 on your own. This is 3x to the negative 2 cubed. And I will give you this hint. Remember, there's a 1 here. So I'll let you work on that for just about 10 seconds. Long enough for me to swill my coffee. Okay, remember, outside the parentheses, trying to get in, that means we're going to distribute, we're going to multiply. So I get 3 to the third power and x to the negative 6. Well, what has to move? Only the negative 6. Only this guy has to move. So the 3 to the third power stays on the top. 3 to the third power is what? 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So that becomes 27 on the top and x to the 6 because I moved it to the bottom. Looks funky, but it's okay. This is fine. Okay? All right, we got about 4 more to do. And in fact, what I think I'm going to do, we've done one like that, we've done one like that. Okay, I'm going to do number 15 with you. Then I'll write 12, 13, and 14 on here. If you don't have your book at home today, you can at least do 12, 13, and 14 that I'll write up here for you. If you do have your book at home, go ahead and start on that homework. It will be due eventually, okay, as will these notes. So 12, 13, and 14 you're going to do on your own at another time. We're going to do 15 together. And 15 is 2 plus 3 to the negative 1 to the negative 2. Okay? All right. Weird, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to simplify what's inside the parentheses. Remember, that's always the first thing that we do when we have this guy, order of operations. Good old Aunt Sally, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And remember, we write M and D next to each other and A and S next to each other because it doesn't matter which one, it matters which one comes first in the problem, left to right. It doesn't matter that multiplication, you do multiplication first. So it just, remember, it just is how it comes in the problem. Okay, so 2 stays the same. What do I need to do with the 3 to the negative 1? Well, it needs to become 1/3. So this guy actually needs to become a new fraction where this whole thing gets transformed into something on the bottom. So this actually becomes 2 plus 1 over 3 to the first power, all to the negative second. Okay? Well, this is really 2 plus 1/3. Oh, God, everybody run away! It's a fraction! Seriously, it's just a fraction. Fractions are our friends, just like whole numbers. They're just parts of whole numbers. It's all it is. It's not that big of a deal. So if you need to do some scratch work off to the side, I don't know how to add 2 and 1/3. It's got to be a mixed number, 2 and 1/3. Please, let's not go there. No mixed numbers, okay? We are all grown-ups in 8th grade here. We do not do mixed numbers anymore. Anything we need to ever use with a mixed number, we have to turn into an improper fraction, so let's do that and leave it alone. This is a perfect example of why we don't want a mixed number. Because when I start distributing this negative 2, this exponent, I want it to be an improper fraction. So what is 2 in terms of 1/3? So if I want to change this into a fraction over 3, so 2 over 1 needs to become something over 3. I have to multiply 1 by 3 to get that, which means I have to multiply 2 by 3 to get that, so it becomes 6/3. That 6 over 3 is 2. 6/3 is 2 over 1. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing 6/3 plus 1/3. And what is 6/3 plus 1/3? Well, remember, when we add fractions, if they have the same denominator, we just add their numerators. So 6 plus 1 is 7/3. This becomes 7/3 to the negative second. Hey, we did a problem like that, didn't we? Let's see. Let me flip back through. Doesn't that look very similar? 7/3 to the negative second, 5/4 to the negative second, same idea. Let's try it the other way this time. So the other way was, what we did the first time was we distributed and then we flipped. Let's go ahead and flip and take that negative away. Now all we're going to do is distribute that 2 on in, so we get, this is my scratch work, so then we get 3 squared over 7 squared, and 3 squared is 9, over 7 squared is 49, cannot reduce, so that is our problem, that is our answer. Okay, the last problems that I want you to try on your own are on this worksheet, 12, 13, and 14. If you don't have that worksheet, I'm going to write them right down here. 12 is 5m squared to the negative second. 13 is x squared times x to the negative 5 squared. And 14 is y to the 5th over y to the negative second to the negative third. So let me clarify one more time for you, give you a few minutes to write that down. All of the ones in black here, 12, 13, and 14 are your problems to try on your own, and I will expect to see those completed on Wednesday should I have seen that you viewed the video. Okay? If you didn't get to view the video, that's a completely different story. I will send you an email and a reminder text that this homework is due and that this video is out there. So you need to complete the homework and try these 3 problems. If you don't have your book, no worries, just get these 3 problems done. We'll worry about the bookwork later. Have a wonderful, happy, relaxing snow day. Now that you've done your math, you feel like you've accomplished something, go outside and play and enjoy your day off, and hopefully my pink eye will be cleared up and I will get to see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.